The premiere begins with the realm still reeling from the events of Season 2. The death of young Lucerys Velaryon ignited the conflict, and the devastating events that followed only pushed both factions further apart. Now there is no path back to peace. Every lord, knight, dragon rider, and soldier must choose a side, and the consequences of those choices will be felt across Westeros. At Dragonstone, Rhaenyra Targaryen stands before her supporters knowing that the future of her family depends on victory. Gone is the hesitant queen who once hoped diplomacy could save the realm. In her place stands a ruler prepared to fight for every inch of ground. Episode 1 is expected to show Rhaenyra embracing her role as a wartime leader, making difficult decisions that will shape the course of the war. The burden on her shoulders has never been greater. Her enemies occupy King's Landing. The Greens continue to gather allies. And every day that passes gives Aemond and Vhagar more opportunities to strike. Rhaenyra understands that waiting is no longer an option. The war must be taken directly to her enemies. At the center of her strategy stands Daemon Targaryen. Throughout the first 2 seasons, Daemon has proven himself to be unpredictable, ruthless, and fiercely loyal to his family. After the strange visions he experienced at Harrenhal, however, something appears to have changed. He seems more focused than ever before. Some fans believe Daemon now understands the greater destiny of House Targaryen and the threat that lies far beyond the Iron Throne. Whether that is true remains to be seen, but one thing is certain, Daemon is preparing for war. As preparations continue, viewers may witness conversations between Daemon and Rhaenyra that reveal the challenges facing the Blacks. They possess dragons, loyal supporters, and strategic advantages, but they also face powerful enemies willing to do anything to maintain control of the throne. Every decision matters. Every mistake could cost thousands of lives. Meanwhile, King's Landing is far from united. King Aegon II remains deeply scarred by the events of the war. His injuries have weakened him physically, but perhaps more importantly, they have damaged his confidence. Many of his allies are beginning to look elsewhere for leadership. That leadership comes in the form of Prince Aemond Targaryen. Aemond enters Season 3 believing that destiny is on his side. With Vhagar beneath him, he commands the largest and most powerful dragon alive. His victory over Lucerys convinced many that he is the Green's greatest weapon. However, power often creates overconfidence, and overconfidence can lead to disaster. Episode may first begin planting the seeds of Aemond's downfall as he grows increasingly convinced of his own. Alicent Hightower finds herself trapped between loyalty to her family and guilt over the destruction surrounding her. Once she believed she was acting for the good of the realm. Now she watches as Westeros tears itself apart. Her influence over Aegon is fading. Her influence over Aemond may already be gone. For the first time, Alicent is beginning to realize that the war has become larger than any single person. The episode's biggest spectacle is expected to be the Battle of the Gullet. For years, book readers have anticipated seeing this event brought to life. Massive warships fill the horizon. Sailors prepare for combat. Dragons circle overhead as commanders issue final orders. The atmosphere is tense because everyone understands that this battle could decide the fate of the war. Corlys Velaryon, known as the Sea Snake, leads one of the most powerful naval forces in the world. His fleet has protected Dragonstone and supported Rhaenyra's claim throughout the conflict. However, the arrival of the Triarchy threatens everything he has built. Their ships are numerous, their commanders are experienced, and they are determined to break the Velaryon blockade. As the battle begins, chaos spreads across the sea. Arrows fill the air. Ships collide. Soldiers fight desperately on burning decks while dragons descend from the clouds. Entire fleets may be destroyed within minutes. The scale of the destruction is unlike anything previously seen in House of the Dragon. The dragons themselves become weapons of mass destruction. Their flames turn the ocean into an inferno. Ships explode. Thousands perish. What makes the battle so terrifying is that neither side can fully control what happens once the dragons enter the fight. Even the most carefully planned strategy can collapse in an instant. One major prediction is that Episode 1 will deliver a heartbreaking loss for the Blacks. While the battle may initially appear to favor Rhaenyra's forces, victory in the Dance of the Dragons always comes at a terrible price. Someone important could die. A beloved dragon could fall. Or a strategic success could create even greater problems down the road. Another possibility is that the battle introduces new heroes and villains who will play significant roles throughout Season 3. Wars create legends, and the Dance of the Dragons is filled with characters whose actions change history forever. As the episode progresses, the emotional impact of the conflict becomes impossible to ignore. Families are torn apart. Alliances crumble. Innocent people suffer while powerful rulers fight for a throne made of swords. This has always been one of the central themes of George R.R. Martin's world. Ordinary people pay the highest price for the ambition. By the final act of the episode, the balance of power may begin to shift. The outcome of the Battle of the Gullet could leave one side celebrating while the other mourns devastating losses. Yet even the victors may realize that the war is far from over. My biggest prediction is that the final scene will focus on King's Landing. As smoke rises from distant battlefields and news of the conflict spreads throughout Westeros, leaders on both sides will begin preparing for an even larger confrontation. The fight for the Iron Throne is entering a new phase, and the battles ahead will be even deadlier. Season 3 Episode 1 is expected to deliver everything fans have been waiting for: massive dragon battles, emotional character moments, political intrigue, shocking deaths, and game-changing twists. More importantly, it marks the moment when the Dance of the Dragons transforms from a family feud into a full-scale civil war capable of destroying House Targaryen itself. As viewers watch the flames spread across Westeros, one question becomes impossible to ignore. Even if one side wins the Iron Throne, what will be left of the kingdom when the war is finally over? Let me know your predictions in the comments below. Who will win the Battle of the Gullet? Will Rhaenyra gain momentum in the war? Can Aemond continue his rise to power? And which major character do you think is in the most danger heading into Season 3? If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more House of the Dragon content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Meanwhile, Daemon Targaryen enters the new season as one of the most dangerous men in Westeros. After the mysterious visions he experienced at Harrenhal, Daemon seems to have a new understanding of his purpose, but that does not make him any less ruthless. In fact, his renewed focus could make him even more deadly. As war spreads across the realm, Daemon may become the Blacks' most effective weapon, willing to do whatever it takes to secure victory. On the other side of the conflict, the Greens are facing serious problems of their own. King Aegon II remains physically and emotionally weakened following the events of Season 2, leaving many to question whether he can effectively lead the realm. This creates an opportunity for Aemond Targaryen to step forward and take greater control. Riding the mighty dragon Vhagar, Aemond believes he can defeat anyone who stands in his way. However, his growing confidence may also become his greatest weakness, pushing him toward decisions that could have disastrous consequences. The Battle of the Gullet is expected to be the centerpiece of the episode. The powerful Valyrian fleet, led by Corlys Velaryon, will likely face a massive threat from the Triarchy, which has aligned itself with the Greens. Ships will clash in the narrow waters surrounding Dragonstone while dragons soar overhead, turning the sea into a battlefield unlike anything viewers have seen before. Flames, explosions, and destruction are expected to dominate the episode as the war finally reaches a scale worthy of the Targaryen Civil War. For Corlys Velaryon, this battle is deeply personal. The Sea Snake has spent his life building the most powerful fleet in Westeros, and now that fleet faces its greatest challenge. Whether Corlys emerges victorious or suffers devastating losses could determine the future of House Velaryon and its place in the war. Another important storyline to watch is Alicent Hightower's struggle with the consequences of her choices. Once convinced that she was protecting her family, Alicent now finds herself surrounded by violence and chaos. The war she helped create is spiraling out of control, and she may be forced to confront the reality that no one can stop what is coming. Her relationship with Aemond will be especially important as she tries to influence a son who increasingly believes only strength and fear can secure victory. Of course, no House of the Dragon episode would be complete without dragons, and Season 3 Episode 1 promises more dragon action than ever before. The skies above the battlefield are expected to become a war zone as dragons unleash fire upon fleets and armies. Fans should prepare for some of the most spectacular visuals the series has ever attempted, with dragon versus dragon combat potentially taking center stage. Looking ahead, I predict that Episode 1 will end with a shocking twist or major death that sets the tone for the rest of the season. House of the Dragon has always thrived on heartbreaking losses, and the premiere will likely remind viewers that no character is truly safe. I also believe Rhaenyra may achieve an important military victory, but only at a terrible cost that will haunt her throughout the season. Another prediction is that Aemond will continue to grow more isolated as he accumulates power. While his confidence makes him a formidable leader, it may also prevent him from seeing the dangers around him. At the same time, Daemon could emerge as one of the season's most important players, stealing the spotlight with bold decisions that reshape the war. As the episode comes to a close, I expect the focus to shift toward King's Landing, setting up an even larger conflict in the episodes ahead. If the battle for the capital truly begins, the war will enter a new and even more dangerous phase, with devastating consequences for everyone involved. Season 3 Episode 1 appears ready to deliver everything fans have been waiting for: massive battles, political intrigue, dragon warfare, shocking twists, and emotional character moments. The dance of the dragons is no longer approaching, it has arrived, and the realm may never recover from what happens next. What do you think will happen in House of the Dragon Season 3 Episode 1? Will Rhaenyra gain the upper hand, or will Aemond prove too powerful to stop? Let me know your predictions in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more House of the Dragon coverage.